The title Succession came with a promise that eventually someone would take over and succeed this guy.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
Fuck off. Fuck off!
Fuck off.
Fuck off!
But for 3 seasons, this seemed unlikely. Despite almost dying in the pilot, facing challenges from his kids, his enemies, and the DOJ, Logan Fuck Off Roy was just too powerful. He was unwilling to relinquish the top position, and as he puts it,
I fucking win.
Therefore, Season 4 came with a huge unknown. Was this title just a lie? Was Logan going to keep winning? And if so, was it going to be disappointing? Well, no. The writers just pulled off an all-time shocker and killed Logan in Episode 3, and it was phenomenal. Are there more exciting episodes? Sure. Funnier episodes? Definitely. But better? I don't think so. Episode 3 currently holds a 10 out of 10 rating on IMDb, which on the one hand, who cares? It's IMDb, and yeah, this could simply be attributed to the fact that it was a big shock like Game of Thrones' Red Wedding, but it's still my favourite hour of TV from 2023. And here's why. First of all, it's worth mentioning that Logan dying in Season 4 wasn't super unexpected. He's old, he almost died a few seasons ago, and they needed to wrap up the show. But to kill him off in Episode 3, basically off-screen...
He's non-responsive? Is he talking? Can he talk?
...was wild. Sure, it's a wedding episode, which have been notoriously eventful in Succession short history, but to go from light banter to this...
Your dad is very sick. He's very, very sick.
What?
...was nuts. No one saw this coming. Which speaks to Succession's masterful ability to be proactive rather than reactive when it comes to both plot and characterization. Much like the surprising announcement that Succession was ending after this season, Jesse Armstrong wants to consistently outpace our expectations, beat us to the punch, surprise us, which is kind of fitting when you think about it because Logan always wins by being one step ahead. Here, Logan dying was expected maybe, but Logan dying in Episode 3 means we have to completely recalibrate our expectations for the rest of the season. What was initially billed as Logan versus the kids is now going to be what? The kids versus each other, versus the board, versus Matsson, versus Greg. Your guess is as good as mine, but it's a brilliant curveball that leaves us scrambling all the way to the finish line. It almost ensures that the rest of the season is going to be incredibly exciting. And bearing this in an episode that is literally titled Connor's Wedding, absolutely outstanding misdirection. I'm sure everyone also noticed that despite his death, Logan isn't the focal point of the episode. Not visually, anyway. After the pre-credits sequence, the most we see of Logan is his out-of-focus torso in the background. That's it, really. Other shows would have probably shown him collapsing in the bathroom and the commotion on the plane. Honestly, that's how I would have storyboarded it, but here his death is communicated through the reaction of others. We get multiple scenes of characters speaking on phones, looking confused, and this incredible shot of Ken walking through the party. And honestly, that's such a better way to do it. Succession is about the impact Logan's presence, or lack thereof, has had on everyone in his orbit. His kids want to impress him, his employees are terrified of him, and most characters want to use him for their own personal gain. He won't leave quietly, and no one can beat him. So what happens when he's suddenly not there anymore?
You can trust me.
You can't trust him.
And this question extends to us as well. We as viewers have only seen one other Succession episode where Logan doesn't really do or say anything, so his absence is eerily noticeable. And Succession is filmed in such a fly-on-the-wall, run-and-gun style that it feels like we're experiencing his death in real time with the kids. To expand on this, here's Brian Cox discussing the underrated cinematography.
We have these camera operators. We used to do, and we didn't do it so much, where we would do a take for the camera operators. The operators would get to do, we did what Mark Mylod called a freebie. So we used to do this freebie, which was for the actors. Yeah. And then we would do one for the operators. And they would pick up the most extraordinary things that would get used in the show.
These extraordinary things include moments like this, when the camera bounces around multiple characters, and seemingly random zoom-ins that punctuate important moments.
Okay, well, there's no need to fucking say that, right? Until we know there's no goddamn... What's the point of keep on saying it?
The camera captures foreground and background, and allows us to focus on multiple things in the same shot. It's very simplistic, but very effective storytelling. And through these visuals, the message is clear. The show, which was so overwhelmingly about Logan for so long, is suddenly not anymore. The focus has shifted, and Succession didn't waste any time moving on. It It was also interesting seeing that the kids had a different reaction to Logan's death, which not only pays off the show so far, but also alludes to what might be coming. Kendall is shocked and desperate and reacts by wanting to control every possible aspect.
And get the best heart doctor in the world and the best airplane medicine expert in the world.
But notably, he says this,
I can't forgive you.
which indicates his more battle-hardened approach to their father-son relationship. He's a realist, and having been on the more brutal side of Logan's wrath, is probably resigned to the fact that Logan's death simplifies his life moving forward. However, the closing shot of the episode is Ken crying, echoing Logan's warning that he'll never be a killer.
You're not a killer. You have to be a killer.
Roman is sadder and feels immense guilt that his phone message might have caused Logan's death.
Do we know if he was on his phone? If he checked his messages?
In season 4, he's been the most willing to maintain a relationship with Logan, which seems to indicate his lack of faith in Shiv and Ken.
I'm pretty sad.
Also, he's the only sibling who goes to see Logan get carried off the plane. I know this is a long bow to draw off such a few scenes, but if things start getting divisive, I wouldn't be surprised if Roman goes scorched earth on his siblings for the rest of the season. Shiv is the saddest of the three, which is in stark contrast to her fight with Logan in episode 2.
There's nothing you could say to me now that I would ever believe.
Much like Ken, she's been seeking approval from Logan for years and thinks the best way to obtain his respect was by beating him at his own game. Like Ken, she says,
There's no excuses for me,
but seems genuinely sad that she'll never reconcile their relationship. And Connor, well, he's sad, but Logan's death prompts him to ask Willa this.
Are you just with me for money, Willa?
Which sort of encapsulates his relationship with his dad. He relied on Logan for money, and it resulted in a transactional and loveless relationship.
I never got the chance to make him proud of me.
Connor was the only kid who was loyal the whole way through, but he was completely disregarded.
If Willa doesn't come back, that's fine, because I don't need love. It's like a superpower.
Therefore, it's kind of heartwarming that when the kids went to bury his awful dad, Connor decided not to be his father and chose himself and love. As I've already alluded to, the single greatest aspect of this episode is the possibilities it presents for the rest of the season.
And in terms of your roles at the company?
I'm not really going to speculate what they might be because 1, I'll definitely be wrong, and 2, I honestly have no idea where to start. But the power vacuum Logan's death creates both inside and outside the Roy family is massive. We got a taste of this with the siblings clashing with the board.
Sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Tom having a meltdown because he backed the wrong horse.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I'm sad.
And Greg potentially leaking the news.
I just got a call from a reporter who's already heard a rumor about Logan's health.
Basically, there's a lot of chess pieces moving around the board, and with Waystar's share price plummeting, there will surely be a feeding frenzy from the media moguls we've met so far. One thing's for sure, it's going to get super ugly, but I'm now at the point where it's going to be so entertaining that I don't really care who wins. And that is the sign of some great writing, and it's absolutely mind-blowing that they were able to restructure the trajectory of the show so successfully, so close to the end. I've been wondering how they were going to write off Logan for a while now, but this was as near to perfect as they could have done it. To me, this is Succession's magnum opus, and if the show somehow gets better from here, I might die of happiness. Bravo, Jesse Armstrong. Bravo, Brian Cox.
Fuck off!
What a brilliant character.
I have you beat!
And what a brilliant run.